In this video, I'd like to talk about the injection valve that you'll find on the ion chromatography instrument. So this is a picture of the injection valve that you'll see on the instrument. There are 6 valves, or 6 ports, and 2 of those ports are connected by a sample loop that's 25 microliters in volume. We have others that are connected to various parts of the instrument, and I'm going to talk about those. So if we look at sort of a diagram of what's going on, we've got 2 positions that we can have our sample loop in. One is the load position and the other is the inject position. In the load position, the goal is to get all of our sample into the sample loop and while we're doing so, flush out that sample loop to make sure it's clean and only has the sample we're interested in and has no bubbles as well. In the inject position, our goal is to get the sample from the sample loop onto the column. Okay, so we use these 6-way valves. So there's 6 tubes, again, connected to the valve. And if you take off the front of the valves, this is a different style here, a different type of valve, but it works very similarly. What you'll find is that there are 6 little dots that are so small that are located behind each of these valves. And every other of those valves or ports is connected by a small groove that allows flow of liquid. This valve, or this injection valve here, is slightly different than the one you have in IC because the last 2 are not connected, but they would be in the IC injection valve. So what will happen is we'll have some tubing connected, say, to port 3. Let's say that corresponds to this position here. And then the groove will connect ports 3 and 2. So 3 and 2 will be connected. If we push a liquid into port 3, it will then automatically go out port 2. Okay? And so, like I said, every other groove is connected. And this is the moving part that you'll find in the injection valve. So what's going to happen is when we're in the load position, this is going to be directed in one way. When we switch to the inject position, this is going to rotate 1/6 of the way around the circle, and 2 different ports will be connected. So let's go back to our diagram. So in the load position, we have our sample coming in from the auto sampler. Let's say these 2 ports are connected by, that's represented by this blue arrow here. So the sample comes in and automatically will go to the sample loop. So that's that piece of tubing. Any excess, because these 2 samples are, or excuse me, these 2 ports are connected, any excess sample will go directly to waste. So the sample comes in, fills the sample loop, and then any excess goes out to waste. Once the sample is done being injected, the sample loop will be full of sample. There won't be air in there, it'll just be full of sample. In the meantime, we still have our mobile phase flowing, as we always do on the instrument. So the mobile phase is actually not coming in contact with any of the sample at this time at all. So the mobile phase is coming in to one port, which is connected to a second port, and then it goes out to the column. Okay, that's the load position. In the inject position, now we've got to get our sample onto the column. And the way we do that is we take our mobile phase, we've rotated that plate 1/6 of the way around the circle. Now now the other ports are connected. So you'll notice this has switched. So these 2 ports were connected here, now they're not. Okay, and these 2 ports are connected, etc. So the mobile phase comes in, these 2 ports are connected, it goes through the sample loop, these 2 ports are connected, and then out to the column. And the mobile phase will continue to flow in this direction through the duration of the sample collection, the chromatogram collection. The remaining 2 ports are not being used, even though they're connected. The sample there will not be any sample being pushed into the injection valve, and so there's really no waste coming out this way. So that's the load and inject position. Okay, you can see it's just really tiny volumes of sample that are being loaded and injected. We've got these tiny grooves that are connected to the ports, and so that's how our injection valve works.